Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cruise Corner podcast. I am your co-host, Jack Carter, and as ever, I'm joined by Cruise Trade News editors Will Payne and Josie Klein. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey guys, good to be back.
Well, we're recording this the morning after England's crushing defeat to Argentina in the World Cup semi-final. So if you can sense a sullen, gloomy tone in Will and Josie's voices, well, that might be why. On an entirely separate note, everyone at Cruise Trade News would like to extend a belated congratulations to Spain for their remarkable 10-0 victory over Argentina in the World Cup final.
Yeah, do want Argentina.
Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah.
Well, we have a fabulous episode for you today to try and pick up the energy. We're joined by Yasmin McKechnie, UK and Europe Sales Director for Princess Cruises. So Yaz is here to discuss how her first 8 months in the role have been since taking over from fellow Cruise Corner podcast guest Hayley Moore. She's also going to be teasing an exciting competition Princess Cruises is running exclusively with Cruise Trade News. There's some amazing prizes on offer for that, guys, so make sure you stay tuned. And that'll be coming up shortly. But before we get into that, Josie, Will, I wanted to get your thoughts on a story that got a lot of attention from our readers this month. So according to data released by Barclays, spending with travel agents is back on the rise after 3 consecutive months of decline. Will, you reported on this story. Talk us through the numbers and help us understand what's driving this uptick in spend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, as soon as we saw this news come across our desks, it was a very positive start to the week, wasn't it? Yeah. It's really nice to see. And so just to dive into some of those numbers, so after falling by 5.7% and 5.8% respectively in April and May, overall travel spending showed signs of recovery in June, which was down by just 0.1%. Airline spend declined by 5.4%, but travel agents actually returned to growth to 1.9%, which is really encouraging. And somewhat surprising for June, because obviously it's getting there into the peak season. You wouldn't expect the booking numbers to go there, but there was a little bit of talk towards the start of the year that the booking windows are changing a little bit. So it's interesting to see where it's going to go, I think.
Well, let me read out a quote to you from Rohan Kumar, Head of Spend Insights at Barclays. So he said, he put this down to record temperatures, stabilizing consumer confidence, and the start of the World Cup. All of those 3 things have helped drive a broad-based increase in activity, he said, boosting spending across everyday essentials, summer purchases, and social occasions. Josie, 2026 has been an up and down year for the travel trade, as we know. So does this story indicate that the tide may be turning, or is there still some cause for concern?
I think that there is still always cause for a little bit of concern, but it does feel like we are moving through what has been quite a turbulent start to 2026. Jack Meaning, who's the chief UK economist at Barclays, predicted growth for the second half of 2026 as uncertainty around travel, obviously with everything that's been happening in the Middle East, that as uncertainty around that reduces and as consumer sentiment improves, it does feel like we're on track for a more positive second half of the year than we've had first.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see how a new prime minister shifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, we know it's going to have a seismic impact, both positive or negative. We'll wait and see. Another major story for our Cruise Trade News this month was the unveiling of the shortlist for the 2026 Wave Awards.
Woo!
Exciting.
So this year we received a record number of entries fueled by several new categories. If you've yet to see if you've made the shortlist, what are you waiting for? Head to thewaveawards.com, where you can also buy tickets for the ceremony on the Tuesday, 24th of November, held as ever at London's stunning Dorchester Hotel.
I'm excited.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. What are you wearing? I know we always ask those kind of what's come up. Black tie, Josie. Your thoughts?
Black tie?
Black tie?
Black tie?
Yeah.
We've got to coordinate as the editors.
Yeah, we should all matching
So
black tie.
black tie, and 3 bowl caps.
Yeah.
No, we're going to see Pitbull.
Yeah.
Well, today's guest was a judge at this year's Wave Awards, funnily enough, and we were delighted that she could join us on the pod. It's been nearly 9 months since Princess Cruises' Yasmin McKechnie took on the role as sales director for UK and Europe. And Will, I thought she was really honest in her interview with you about feeling daunted by what was a whole new remit for her. Did that come across?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, great thing about Yaz is she's very open, easy to talk to. And, as you say, she very honestly put out some of those fears and, sort of concerns she had. But, we've seen what what's happened to Princess over the last year, and she smashed it. And it was really nice to hear that from her side of things. And there's some great stuff to listen out to in the episode. At one point, Yas flipped script a bit and actually interviewed me about my experience with Princess this year.
How was that?
So, yeah, it was, again, maybe a little bit daunting for
Every
me.
journalist's nightmare.
I know, I much prefer asking the questions than being asked the questions. But yeah, I think there's a journalist in Yas, 100%. She has some really good questions. Yeah, so I share my experience of being in Alaska on Star Princess and heading over to Marseille for a destination experience fam trip with Princess as well. So listening out for that is really fun. And of course, we brought out the crystal ball of questions for Yas as well. So make sure to stick around to the end to see what her question was.
And of course, there's our competition with some amazing prizes to be won.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
by way of introduction, Yas first joined Carnival Cruise Line in 2016 as Territory Partnerships Manager, holding various roles with P&O Cruises and Cunard before eventually working her way up the ladder to Strategic Business Manager. But it was in April 2024 when she jumped ship to Princess Cruises, as it were, where today she is Director of Sales for UK, Ireland and the EMEA regions. Let's dive in.
Yas, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Yas, you've been at Carnival UK in various roles now for more than 10 years, but specifically with Princess since April 2024.
Yeah.
Now, just over 6 months ago, you were named the line's new UK, Ireland and EMEA Sales Director.
Yeah.
How's that been?
A whirlwind.
Yeah.
For sure. There's been a lot that's gone on and a lot of new things to get my head around, but I've loved it. Yeah. It's been a really good first 6 months.
Well, it's a great brand as well. Like, there's so much going on with Princess at the moment.
So much exciting stuff.
Yeah, which is great. And so it's only been a short period, but it feels to say there's been a lot going on already. Is there some sort of specific highlights, things that you've are particularly proud of in your first 6 months?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's probably a couple, actually. When I took on the role, EMEA, brand new for me. I'd only ever been UK specific before, so that was a big step change. And sales operations is also in my function. So again, getting my head around social media strategies and everything like that was all really different. But it's been a really exciting part to get my head around. And I was really fortunate in April to travel on Enchanted Princess and meet our ISA partners. So it was just great to meet the new faces, spend time on board and discuss future plans, which I loved. The other big highlights for me all come around the team, to be honest. We made some changes to our team. We brought new people in. So Mike joined us as our national training manager at the back end of last year, and he's making great strides. We had an additional person join our ops team. We've had new people join the team. And it's just really helped us function smarter. And I've been really fortunate that I have a great bunch of people around me with all the change and all the new things that are going on. Everyone has just been so supportive and so embracive that I'm just really excited about what the future brings.
Absolutely. And I think, you hit the nail on the head there. The Princess team are just so great to work with.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot coming up working with Princess, and we'll get onto that in just a bit. But you mentioned about going on board, and funnily enough, I think I've been on more Princess cruises than nearly anyone this year. It's been, I've been, all Princess. I mean, I went to Alaska on Star Princess at the end of May, just returned from Marseille on one of your destination experience fan trips, which was excellent. Really enjoyed that. And I think, being able to see the brand and seeing the new ships, and I've seen both ships before when they first launched, but actually getting a taste of it when they're sailing.
So different, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, so different.
I'm going to fire some questions at you then for once. It's always us on the receiving end.
Yeah.
About time we got to ask you some questions. So here's one. Star is obviously the newest in the fleet. Not many people have got to experience her yet because she's been in the Caribbean and Alaska, so not many agents have been on board yet. Was the one thing after stepping foot on board that impressed you the most about the onboard experience?
Wow, that is a good question. I think, as you say, I've been on Sun Princess, I've been on Star Princess, and I think for me with Star Princesses, it's those nuances that you've clearly learned something from Sun Princess and tiny little things that you've changed. So one thing I noticed was in Sun Princess, the ice cream bar is downstairs next to O'Malley's, and then on Star Princess, it's on top deck.
Yeah.
So it's like just these tiny little changes where you've clearly, it's impressive that you can respond and react when they launch so close together. I was really
100%.
impressed by it. But I think for me, the standout on Star Princess is the Sanctuary Club.
Yeah.
I think we went there. So I saw it in Alaska and I saw it in Sun Princess in Marseille. Two very different vibes. One really cold, one really hot. But I think the way it can balance and like this little escape where it's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more sedate. You've got the ring for champagne and if you get out the ball, which
How many champagnes did you have?
undisclosed. With that's off the record, I think.
Fine.
You can read it in my review. But I think, that area, it really is like a testament to where cruise is going as well. Having these different areas on the ship that, work for different people. It depends on how you want to cruise. And I think it's brilliant. And the agents had a great time as well.
And was there anything in the guest experience side of things that surprised you?
I wouldn't say surprised, because I think, Princess is so well known for having that high level of guest experience and that guest attention as well for your crew. We went on board, especially when I went on Star Princess, because it was in Alaska. Usually when I do these sort of press trips, it's very hosted. It's very, it's not difficult to get a sense of what's on board, but to see it through the eyes of a consumer could be a little bit tricky sometimes. Whereas the Star Princess one, we were just left to our own devices. Brilliant. So I really got to experience what it was like. And I think the medallion, I know it's spoken about a lot, but it really is at the pinnacle of the industry. Like, being able to just, put it on and you can hear your door unlock as you're walking through the corridor as you're getting closer, and
no faffing, trying to find that room card.
Absolutely. And you'll be in a bar having a drink and the crew will come over and greet you by your name because they can see it on their screen. It's like, oh, and they see what you last had. It's like saying again. It's like, absolutely, I've only just got here, but they know what I want.
So effortless, doesn't it?
And it's things like that, because cruising, for people who haven't cruised before, it can be a daunting thing. It can be a bit half, how do I do this, how do I do that? With the medallion, it just makes everything so simple.
And what did you think of Alaska? Did you do any shore excursions?
Oh yeah, Alaska was incredible. It's
show
always
your
been
bottle.
The bottle, which I had to get from the Princess shop on board, where I can literally stick on exactly what I did when I was there. So we did a whale watching excursion, which was incredible. We turned up and we were told we only had a 5% chance of seeing orcas. We were lucky enough to see 2 pods of orcas, including a baby one as well. And it was incredible. And we saw humpback whales. There was a junior one that got really close to the ship, quite to the worry of our captain, who was like, we need to move away because this might try and get on the ship. So it was like, but it was they called it spy hopping, where the whale sort of pops up and then goes back down again. And you could see the mum in the distance, who had clearly quite used to the small boats, but the babies, they were intrigued. They want to learn. So getting that up and close and personal with the wildlife, and the guides were brilliant, so knowledgeable, and they, that's what sticks with you is, being with the people who live in these destinations, and
they really bring it to
really
life.
passionate about it. And I think, we were doing it with guests, and you could tell, like, there was someone on board who was crying when we saw these whales, because her daughter was like that's what her favorite animal, and she FaceTimed her, and it was like emotional, and it was really lovely to see that experiences like this can only really be found on cruises. So that was great.
And if I'm a travel agent who's looking to do my first ever Princess cruise, what would you say is the one thing that they would never truly appreciate until they experience it on board?
That's a good question as well. So yeah, of course, we went on board with travel agents, and I think, surprisingly enough, in terms of, I think, going away from on board. So when we did this destination experience, it was all focused on the destination. And I think the one thing is the shore excursions. So like the ship, and this is what one of the agents I spoke to said, they could get loads of training. There's loads of information online about the ship. They could get an idea of the deck plan. Of course, you won't experience it until you actually get on board. But learning it from start, like how shore excursions are run on board, and like the ease of going to the desk and finding out or changing things, or getting to know where your guide is, and then once you're in these shore excursions, the level of detail. So when we was in Marseille, we went to a lavender distillery, something I never think I'd go to. It was a really unique experience, but it was brilliant. It was so interesting. And then after that, we went to a small village, Le Marine, where we got to wander around, have some lunch at your leisure, and then we went back to Marseille, and all of that was included in the excursion. Getting there with a guide, you had free time. And I think things like that is, for an agent, getting on board and trying these things to see how the shore side complements the onboard stuff. Like, that's the key, because I think that's where cruise is going in terms of the land and cruise market. So I think having that experience in the hands of the excellent Princess team was excellent.
Good answer.
Brilliant.
That's it. That's my questions done for you, Will.
It feels weird being on the other side. It really does.
Time to be on the other side.
Let's turn it back the other way. Something I'm a little bit more comfortable with. But so as I mentioned, we've got a lot coming up with Princess.
You do.
Lots to look out for. First being a really exciting competition that we're launching with you guys, for our readers and your travel agent partners, ahead of a special Princess Cruises edition of Cruise Trade News, which is coming in September. We'll have a little bit more information coming on that in the next few weeks, but we're working very hard on that as we speak. Can't wait to bring you all that. But yes, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about this competition we've got coming up?
Okay, so first of all, this was something that we did last year in partnership with Cruise Trade News, and it was a huge success. So we thought, how are we going to top that again for this year, which was no easy feat. The team worked really hard with your team and my team behind the scenes, and we've really focused on September because it can be a bit of a rubbish month. I think everyone's focused on going back to work after the summer or getting the kids ready to go back to school. The nights are getting shorter as we approach winter, and we don't want to focus on that anymore.
No,
we want to focus on the fact that it's still summer somewhere with Princess. So that will underpin everything that we're doing as part of this edition, which is really exciting. Now, I'm not going to give too much away. We want some secrets still, but next week we'll be launching our pre-registration phase with you guys. So that will give agents the opportunity to register their interest nice and early, be the first to find out all the details so that they can be part of the amazing competition in September. When they do pre-register, we will ask them to submit a photo of their favourite summer holiday destination. It doesn't have to involve Princess. Obviously, we'd like it if it did, but it could be of any summer destination that they've been to worldwide. We will then give you 5 entries to our competition when that launches for every photo that is submitted. So agents will be in with a chance of winning straight away.
Yep.
And if the photos are good enough, they may even make the September edition. So who knows? If an agent submits their photo, they might be on the front cover.
Exactly. And everyone wants to be on the front cover.
Exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, we can't wait. We've never done anything like this before. Can't wait to see all your pictures. I think it's going to be so cool. Just to give you some exact dates there. So it'll be from the 3rd of August. You can pre-register your details online and start uploading your photos. And the closing date is the 8th of September. So you've got a long time there, right in the key holiday period, to get your photos uploaded and get in touch with us, which we are very excited about.
Definitely.
And there's a lot to be won. We won't touch on what there is.
Not selling any of the prizes.
It's I'll just say it's some of the best we've given away.
Yes.
So keep an eye out for that. There'll be tons more information on cruisetradenews.com and in the magazine, and also on Princess's channels as well.
Definitely.
So Yaz, look, we could talk all day about this, but we are coming to an end.
Okay.
But before we go, we like our guests to pick a mystery question
From the mystery ball.
Crystal ball. So I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
Pick your own question.
Let's see what we've got. If I don't like it, I'm going to put it back in.
That's not the rule.
Oh, what is the first thing that you've done after embarked?
Ooh,
that is a good one.
Yeah,
do you know what? I'm going to give you 2 answers because it depends who I'm travelling with. If I'm in mum mode, so I travel with my husband and my son, the first thing I do is I go to our stateroom and I unpack.
Yeah.
Because the chaos that can go on in my stateroom if it is not organised is not worth living through. So I will send the boys up to top deck. They can make a start on the holiday and I will just go and get organised.
Yeah.
If I'm with the girls, very different. I don't care what my stateroom is like. I will be going and usually sitting up on top deck.
Yeah.
We love to sit on the edge of the pool, just feet in and grab our first drink on holiday. For anyone that's not travelled on Princess before, first drink of choice is always a dirty banana. So I hope you got to experience one of those on board.
I didn't.
Oh,
got to go back on board.
Got to go back.
No, what a shame. Well, yeah, it's great answers there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
As I say,
me.
we can't wait to see what we've got coming up with Princess in the next few weeks. We're very excited to follow the brand throughout the end of the year and future. But Yaz, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Will.